When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I...
Hi, my name is Larry White, and I am your producer and director of The Inner Beat. The Inner Beat is a socially conscious program that sometimes showcases cultural events as well as community events. And occasionally, we'll even bring you a little song and dance. So sit back and enjoy The Inner Beat.
Because the things that the time that they get in trouble most is between the hours of 3 and 6. And you're not going to effectuate change with children within the controlled environment of the classroom. And I tell you what's happening with our teachers who think like that is that they're missing out on a wonderful and golden opportunity. I'll never forget, as assistant principal in Yonkers, I made over 100 home visits in like 3 months. And I would go to the children's home with bad news, good news, didn't matter. And even the students who would bring information to their parents about what they were doing in school that was negative would come to me the next day and say, Ms. Blake, you must really, you came to my house. I said, yeah. He said, you came to the hood. I said, yeah. He said, man, you must really care. It made an impact. And it also said something to that parent. Well, if their school's not afraid to come to us, I guess I'll go on up to that school. Because, many parents, when they were children, they had a negative relationship with the school. And then they hold that as adults. And so there's a hostility that has to be broken down for communication to begin. So if you're a teacher, how could you be a teacher, an African-American teacher, and you don't know the work of Carter G. Woodson? You don't know the work of Asa Hillard? Or right here in New York, Dr. Adelaide Sanford, Ron Edmonds. Because there are people that have predated us who, like you were saying, sister, they already created the agenda. It's already been laid out. But the problem is that the new generation coming up of educators, they come up in an era where there was no black history. They don't come up out of the 60s and the 70s where black was just in the atmosphere. You didn't have to, even if you want to be ignorant, the black got on you. Because it was in the air. They come up in an era where there's none of that, and they go to these schools where, education is not just teaching, but it's also socialization. So they've been socialized away from feeling a sense of empathy towards their own. And that's why a teacher today, black, can refer to a black child as an animal. See how they look, pants down, the way they act, they're just animals. They can't see beyond the child's condition into the child's potential and move them forward. We're starting to miss that level of teachers that say, come here, boy, what are you doing? Pull your pants up. What is wrong with you? And speak to us in a way that we're familiar with, but at the same time, moving us. A teacher that shops in the community that they teach in is powerful. Are there any teachers in this audience? Brother, you ever shop near the school or in the community that you teach at? Absolutely. And tell me the truth. Don't the children know they run up to you? What's your name?
Anthony Lowe.
Anthony. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Don't they run up to you and say, "Hey, Mr. Lowe, how you doing?" Don't the parents get excited when they see you? Because they're looking at a person who's teaching their children who is vested in the community. And this is why I have a problem with teachers who are not from our community come mess up our children and go back to their community never seeing what they left behind. So I'm going to close on that and just say that there's a saying that I heard said before called, "He who prescribes the diameter of your thinking controls the circumference of your activity." And the problem with our black educators is that the diameter is this small. And so the circumference is this small. And the only way we're going to lengthen the diameter is when we go and decide to go on a mission towards self-knowledge. And then our diameter will grow, and then the sphere of our activity and the people that we influence will grow. And when we do that, we can have an empowered community that can force the Department of Education and the New York State Board of Education to create the kind of programs that are going to benefit our children. This, just on this last note, you know right now they're arguing over mayoral control. How did the mayor get control of New York City schools?
He took it.
Yeah, he took it.
He took it.
But he took it because it was right to be taken.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. If you go back and look at Brownsville, Ocean Hill, the fight there was for community control of schools. And as much as the United Federation teachers try to act like they're for parents, and they put on these nice ads saying that we're for parents and, you know, a good teacher and a child, please. And I want to say this, I'm not talking about good teachers. I'm talking about the United Federation of Teachers and its leadership. That organization was against community control. And would rather have shut the school down than to see the community have control of the schools. Because once you have community control, you decide the curriculum. You decide how the school day is going to be structured. You decide what kind of programs are going to come into school, and you decide what kind of leaders and teachers are going to be before your children. So right now, so what happened? We got control. We got community control. But what came with the control? The tribalism that I spoke about before. So rather than it being a board where there could be real revolutionary movement towards moving our schools, it became a stepping stone for political office. Am I lying?
No.
It became a stepping stone. And people got on there and started jockeying and lost sight of the children. And in that argument, you allowed the snake to come in. Or we did. And snatch it and get mayoral control. And so that is a study of history. That is a mistake that we made. We need to understand it, evaluate it, assess it, get community control back. But when we get it back this time, make sure that we don't make the same mistake that we did before. And then actually take control in terms of what's happening in our schools. But if you look at the power over the schools in New York City, the mayor wants control, the U of T gets up there and they say their piece. They're not saying that no one's saying community control. It's a battle between the mayor and the United Federation of Teachers of who's going to have the influence of a system that serves 90% Black and Latino children. So.
For how many $billion?
22.
22. Wow. So I would like to close on that note and just say again, you know, I think that African-centered education is needed because history is most qualified to reward us in our research. Thank you.
Wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed, no more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what